Hey, Brittany.
Hi, Patsy.
Hey, Snarkers. Welcome back to the Snarking Lot. Here we are, Brittany. Hey, how's it going today? What's up?
It's going. Things are progressing. How about you?
I like that. Things are progressing. Yeah, I'm present. I say that sometimes. I'm here, but we're excited to record this podcast. The I'm present kind of applies to things outside of the Snarking Lot. Snarking Lot, we are excited about.
Yeah, it's just a dumpster fire
Clapping.
outside of the lot. You take a right outside of the snarking lot, and everything is just on fire.
I think I've sent you 3 or 4 dumpster fire memes in the last week, potentially different versions. I also found some dumpster fire um swag on Amazon.
It's nice to know we have an army. There are like-minded people out there.
I mean, let's just say there's some dumpster fire plushies. There's a dumpster fire coin you can flip, like a little play coin. There's lots of t-shirts. So if you're into thinking about how your life might be a little bit of a dumpster fire, there's some merch out there for you.
Just feng shui it. It's fine. Get into it.
Yes. Well, in that spirit, how's your mental health today? Let's do the quick check.
Eh, yeah, we're there.
Okay.
It's present. That'd be a good idea. That'd be a good saying.
Present,
Yeah.
present for the activities. I mean, your Zoom square says tries applicable.
That's pretty much my motto. That's gonna go on my headstone. She tried.
She tried. I like that. I would like a version of that. Well, an effort was made.
with 3 dots in the middle because there would just be a pause. She tried.
Tried. I like that. It's a dramatic pause that says things. That's great. It's
How
perfect.
about you? How's your mental health?
Hmm. Present. Tired.
There's your
Period.
headstone.
Present and tired. So
Hmm.
accurate. Hmm. Like, thank you for showing concern. Fine. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Looking up dumpster fire plushies on Amazon. No
Yeah,
big.
well,
It's
that's
fine.
good. If anybody ever needed to know where your mental health's at, no, your search bar.
Yeah. 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 Look at what Amazon knows.
I mean,
Bezos knows.
we did grow up in the Beanie Baby craze, so I'm gonna attribute to that. Like now you're like, how can I plushie my emotions? Let's get a dumpster fire plushie. Comfort and accurate.
Comfort and accuracy is key. Are you truly millennial? Are you not truly millennial? Whichever is the right, double negative. If you walk past a plushy claw machine in the entrance to a store and not think I should do that from like your bowling alley days,
Oh God, yeah. There's still
right?
one. There's one in one of the grocery stores I go to, and I just walk
Yeah.
past every time I go out because it's near the exit, and I'm like, not enough people do that anymore. There'd
I
have been a
know, right?
line at the door in the 90s and 2000s.
I know.
Early.
The 90s were a special time for the claw machine. I mean, the claw machine was featured in Toy Story
I was
for
just gonna
crying
say
out
they
loud.
put it in a movie. That's a big cultural moment
It's a,
there.
it's a big centerpiece of that plot, is that claw machine. It's very special. All right. Well, since the mental health check was a little, I don't know if concerning is the right word. It was a little touch and go there, maybe. Let's just say I am
Oh,
drinking my beverage out of people can't see it, but I am slowly rising a snarking lot coffee mug into the frame. The US Postal Service kind of screwed Brittany over, didn't send it to her on time for today's episode, but this is
it's
what
out
it,
there.
they look great.
Look at that. Look at that nice coloring everywhere.
Double
Oh,
sided.
brown double-sided.
It's a great size. It's
I
not
was gonna
those
say,
small ones for like when it's like, do you think I need that amount of coffee?
you think I want more than 2 sips of my drink? Oh, no, no.
Right,
Okay,
right,
fine.
right.
I'll drink out a mouse cup. Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, it's
It's
our
very nice.
logo. It's our main logo with us on it. It's great. It's very
And
great.
Cassie, what would people have to do if people are interested in owning some of that
Parking
swag?
lot merch.
Yeah, what could people? do? If they were
A
like,
great
hey, I
question.
want that in my rotation.
It's a great question, Brittany. Thank you for asking. People should go to the Snarking Lot Facebook page, find the post where it talks about do you like free stuff? You go share that sucker. You get at least five, if not more, people to follow our page, new followers. You tag them in the comments on that post and be like, I found these people, and we will package you up some stuff and send it your way as a thank you. Now, will it be a mug first crack? We don't know yet. We got to see how y'all do, but this is a challenge. You for sure might get some cool, really nice quality stuff in the mail.
As featured on prior episodes, so go back and watch them.
Yeah. Do your research.
Yeah.
Do your research.
Speaking of social media,
Oh,
we have another exciting announcement.
oh, yeah. What you got, Brittany? You want to tell everybody what the other exciting announcement is?
The Snarking Lot has officially expanded like a nice fungus that you want in your life, over to Instagram. So take that, Meta. We are expanding in the universe. Now on Instagram.
Take that, Meta. We went to your other platform.
Yeah, we just expanded to all the places you've just, pulled under your umbrella. It's fine.
It's out there. Follow it at the Snarking Lot on Instagram. Proper handle. It's amazing. We're looking forward to seeing you there. This is also a way for us to hopefully in the future, we have some big goals on some cool guests that we would like to politely spam in their DMs to see if they'll ever consider becoming a guest on the show. So Instagram is key to that. Because do you DM anybody who's worth anything on Facebook? No,
No,
you do it on Instagram.
no, you're not sliding into Facebook DMs. I mean, you could, but
You
again,
could, but
that was like 2008. We're not doing that anymore.
this is 2024. We're sliding into some Insta
2024, you're
DMs.
either sliding Instagram DMs or you're rage tweeting them on Twitter. Sorry, X. It's Twitter.
X, formerly Twitter.
Yes. Yes.
Brittany, this show today is very exciting. This is going to be fun. This is your show. I am considering this 127%. That's my number that I always use when I'm really confident. 127% your show. We are going to talk about running, the value, importance, fun, all the things, running, exercise, all that.
We could have really gone after some better people for this too. This might have been when we could have DM'd some
Whatever.
people who do things well. No, this is, yeah, I think this is when we talked about music being a cornerstone of our friendship, or kind of one of the ways. I think running would be another one. In terms of something we did for many years throughout our high school careers and have it in common, have a lot of ridiculous stories around it, or have led to a lot of ridiculous things around it.
This is very true. But I'm curious. I don't think I really know. So I am excited because this podcast has made me learn and know things that I did not know before. How in the hell did you get into running? Like, what made you start? I mean, I ran with you when we were on the team together, but what started it all?
Yeah, it was I think really just a way to stay in shape for basketball.
Okay.
And more so because I knew I liked like running around. I mean, I never done like distance stuff. We did not do the high school mile that everybody and their brothers seems to have done in their gym class, their five class in middle and high school, which honestly I think could have been actually kind of amazing. Some humbling experience for some people, but that's for a different
Snark alert.
podcast.
Sorry.
Whoops. Yeah, well. And so I mean, like I liked running around, like tag, different things like that. I don't know, doing stuff. And I knew that I could just go for a while. Like, could I out sprint everybody? No, but I could do stuff in basketball, even like, the suicides or whatever they're now called, or different things
Yeah.
like that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, again, I'm not beating anybody in the first few, but I don't feel terrible doing them, like doing things longer. So I was like, I'm just go out and it looks like it'd be interesting. So I just showed up for the meeting at the end of eighth grade, or kind of the so we always had at our school like the meeting at the end of the school year for the upcoming school year, where you kind of just talked. You
Yeah.
people who were interested could go quick after school. It was in the library, I think. And talk to the coach and then get a plan. So I definitely just started out. I was like, wow, I'll follow this plan to get up to half an hour running because I
Yep.
probably can't do that. I don't know. That seems like a lot. And so it was, I can remember it was uh no, sorry, run 4 minutes, walk two, repeat 5 more times. So you basically got you doing 30 minutes of movement. And then the next week it was run three, walk three. Sorry, it was run 2 minutes, walk four, repeating.
Yep.
Next week
Okay.
was run three, walk three. The next week was run four, walk two. And basically getting you up to like, I think the end of it, I don't know, it was a 10 week, whatever it was. Week 9 was like run 15 minutes, walk one or
Oh
two
yeah.
minutes, but again. And then the last one was, several days of 30 minutes. So I literally just did laps in the yard at my house, maybe up in the field a little bit too, and just did
Yeah.
it. I had my little Timex watch for time. We didn't have the GPS watches we have now. And I was like, I don't know my pace, but whatever. I'm just going for the minutes, like trying to do it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we got started. I was like, yeah, just
Interesting.
do it. How about you? How did you get started?
Interesting you say that it was kind of get in shape for basketball because I think or I've shared on here. Like, I mean, basketball is arguably like my favorite sport. So it probably was a little bit of that, but I do remember like my uh one of my extended cousins in my family was a great distance runner who like was going to state like at our school, and so my freshman year was her senior year. So I was kind of interested in it because she was in it and doing so well. Not that I did not think, oh, I'm gonna go be her, but it was just like I'm intrigued by that concept because she like runs 5 miles past my grandma's house training and like what is this whole cross country thing about? So I was just kind of like intrigued by the family connection to it. And then I mean, yeah, I think that's a good point. I think I wanted to just be well trained for other stuff and just be like fit and in shape. And that was a way like a good like volleyball in the fall was sure as heck wasn't gonna do it. So like sweet. So I was not very committed to training. So the summer before my freshman year of high school, I basically ran for like 2 weeks before practice started and was miserable because I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any advice. I didn't really look up anything on the internet, which was fledgling at the time.
Yep.
Dial up at my grandma's, so I wasn't like researching training plans or anything. It was just kind of like, all right, well, I'll go run for a little bit in the park and see how I do, and die doing it. So showed up to practice and pretty much took the whole season like getting the endurance that you should have if you train correctly in the summer to like compete as a okay competitor,
Yeah.
It was a training season.
Yeah, well, I think the first one, no one knows what to expect because
Right.
our school did not have middle school track like some schools did. So,
That's a good
I
point.
think see other schools, people come in, even some of the smaller ones that do, like they come in and eat. So the freshmen are not really freshman level in terms of experience. Like they already kind of know what to expect. And so I'm like, oh, that would have
Yeah.
been nice. Or, some schools you weren't supposed to get coached during the summer, but 100% some schools did. And I was like, oh, good, look at the competition. Just yep, getting
Yeah.
cool things. And like oh wow, you have like the dedicated weight room. Oh dear. That's gonna be fun for the season then. Cool. Like it was kind of, yeah, just like do whatever, look it up. And yeah, like that's the thing. There was no like couch to 5K or all the different like
Right.
apps and plans, which are very helpful now, but none of that really existed. You had to like go try and find one in Runner's World, or if you
Yep.
thought of going to look it up online, which I certainly didn't. I wasn't doing dial up to be like, oh, what should I do for a high school training plan?
Yeah. How should I get prepared for distance running? Yeah, that wasn't
No,
happening.
there was none of that.
Right. So a little snarky later. I'm a firm believer that distance running builds character that other sports do not. And that's not to slight on the other sports, but there's a different mindset when you're going to run 2.5 miles without stopping, or you're going to run 3.1 miles without stopping. That's just like different, I think. Now, you run more than me now currently and have maintained more over time. I've been kind of ebb and flow of I love it, but I don't stick with it. Go in spurts. What are your thoughts on the character building nature of running? Distance running.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true of, I guess, the bigger umbrella even of endurance sports. So whether it is running, I know we're talking about running, but cycling even, I don't do as much of that, but seeing, the stuff for swimming or even the stuff, the longer distance things, because it is about pushing yourself through. And I've done some shorter, like I was never a sprinter in high school. I have done a 4x4, got thrown at the last second. That went about
Yep.
as well as expected. And I was like, the difference there usually I think to distance running is like, I don't know, in sprinting I feel like you don't always know when the wall's going to hit and then you just hit it and that's it. You like, it's
Yeah.
probably coming, but that I had been told kind of where to expect it, and boy howdy did I hit it 200, like exactly halfway in over in Sugar River. I can remember it in Belleville. I can remember it was my junior year, maybe sophomore junior year, and I was like, oh dear God, you could probably just watch people slow. Whereas like in distance stuff and running,
Yep.
you will probably hit the wall, but it's not going to be for a while. And it's a slow build up. You can feel it coming.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you prefer to get it out of the way and just fight through for a few more seconds or even 800 or whatever? Or do you want to
Yeah.
be psychotic and be like, no, I want to like I want to be able to feel it coming for like a mile on. And,
Yeah.
some I'll have to not only stop because I know it's coming, but also just let's keep this like gradually rising level of pain. Like, sure, yeah, let's keep doing that to the point where we either level off and we can either fight through it and the race is done, or we hit it somewhere in the race and we're like, oh, I've got more to go than like I can't see the finish yet. Oh, this is going to be a problem. So I think it
Yeah.
does take a special weird kind of person, or it's about, I mean, lots of sports are about testing your limits. So I don't think distance running is unique in that, but I think it is
True.
like, can you do something without stopping or a little stopping or whatever it looks like, even if you stop, okay, so what? But yeah, can you go out and do something that is absolutely going to probably short circuit you and
Yeah.
hurt? And will you do it? And then will you willingly come back and do it again?
And you will, once you get a taste of it, like that you can accomplish, in our case, when, girls cross country in high school, 2.5 miles, like you're running half the distance between our two towns that like made up our school district, like you're running halfway to another town without stopping as a human. Like when you think about that and you do it, you absolutely want to do it again. And you're like, I want to do it better and I'm going to go farther. I'm going to go faster. It's like you compete, you immediately, at least me, like it's like I'm immediately starting to want to compete against myself. This is fun in like the torture sort of way.
There have been studies, and I think it applies to any distance. I mean, they do it obviously probably after like, I think mostly in marathons or maybe
Hmm.
ultras, Ironmans, and all that stuff, because that's an even bigger level of the same thing. But I think it applies to everywhere. But they have done studies about like what makes someone get done and be like, I'm never gonna do that again. And then like a few days later, a few weeks later, like, oh, yeah, I could. I probably
Oh, I
will
like it.
do
Yeah,
that, like
for
something, or
sure.
even just a couple days later. And it's like basically they're like, no, it's a trauma response. Like your body in the moment is like, oh,
Yeah,
absolutely never again. What are we doing?
totally.
And a few days later, it's like you would with other traumas, you're like your body, your mind starts to forget it. And then you're like, well, I mean, it probably wasn't that bad. I could do that again. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know what to expect. And so yes, it's they have done studies on it. And it's like, you were basically, it's a trauma response. You're just forgetting it so that way you can keep doing it over
Doing
and
it.
over again.
Like the one foot in front of the other mentality of like when you hit that wall and like if it's a really hilly course or like whatever it is and you feel like you can't go on, but you are like, I am not gonna let myself down. Like that's the main thing. Like I'm like one literally like I'm gonna take another step and another step and another step and I'm thinking about walking, but I don't want to walk. So I'm like, like so I'm like push, push, push. And then eventually you're at the end and you've done it.
Yeah.
Like that's the amazing thing to me. Like, and my Zoom square says Cassie not fast but tries. Like my PR in high school cross country was super slow by any standard, but it was like It was the last race I ever did, and I cleared the time I wanted to clear, and it was the best feeling ever. Ever. Didn't matter. It didn't matter that it like sucked.
Well, in
Just
cross country is always interesting because, no two, you could try and compare it over the course of the season. Like, yeah, you want to be faster by the end than the beginning, but you almost
yeah,
had to go from year to year at that same course because no two courses were going to be the same. So it's
right.
like, maybe in the next weekend, would I have been faster? Sure, but then we were on a different course, or like if it doesn't suit your strengths, you might be a little slower, but you're like, yeah, but in the scheme of things, we're kind of
Right.
again trying to get the trajectory, or like, how did you feel? Or, did you, even if it was harder, did you feel okay? Or did you attack parts of it better than you thought? Or, did you maybe beat people that you were kind of around that you didn't beat last week? Like we all had kind of the
Yeah.
people at the schools that would like all kind of be, you knew who the people were around you that ran some of the similar times um
Yeah.
for it. Like I can remember my PR was at Platteville. They don't even do that race anymore, like down in the park,
They
because it
don't?
like after one of the no, because I have friends who coach in high school now, and I'm like, Platt, and they used to go to Platteville too, and they're like, yeah, they don't do it anymore because a few years ago storms came through, and so I think it
Oh,
basically, I don't even know that the park and the trails over there are maintained, but
right.
it was an all right course. Like, it had a couple hills, but it like also something I was like, this plays to my strengths. And I can remember finishing, like, it's coming and you come off the bridge, and I don't know, it's probably, what is it, like 100, 200 meters to the finish. You can kind
It
of see
is,
it.
yeah. Probably
And that
around
was
that.
my senior. I don't know if you saw it or you remember it, because I think you were there.
I was there.
It was during the fall, and so all of the leaves had fallen down. And I remember, like, you're running because you can't, it's a carpet of leaves. You can't see anything. And I stepped in like a divot or a hole because I couldn't see any, like, you couldn't
Right.
see where it is. And I nearly like tripped, and I was like, oh, good Lord. And like was able to keep going because I was like, I swear to God, I'm not gonna face plant on one. I'm like, I knew I was probably towards my pier, and I'm like, do not face plant. Do not get off course. Like, it doesn't feel like you broke or sprained anything. Like, keep going. Like
Keep going. Yeah.
yes. Like,
There you
just
go.
the ridiculous nature of like, yeah, I gotta somehow get back up out of I mean, it was a step. Like, I stepped down in it, and my foot luckily
Yeah.
didn't break or it didn't sprain anything, but it was kind of like in the perfect little rut because I couldn't, leaves, that it kind of like caught me. And then I'm like, oh, that would have been great if I'd have gone. And I was too far out. Like, it was not by the finish. And so I would have still had
Yeah.
probably 150 meters left to go for it. But I remember that. I mean, like, I don't care. You can assess after, it's adrenaline. You can assess what's happened afterwards. You have to get to the finish. You have to go.
You have
Um,
to.
you
I
got to
hear you.
somehow still try and sprint. Like, it feels weird. Go. Just ridiculous, ridiculous.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like the
Oh,
ridiculous
Platinum.
courses, the mud. I remember my freshman year at Platteville, that was what there had been flooding. And I remember
Remember that?
running. Oh my God, that
That was
river that we,
crazy. It's like through
yes.
like mud trenches.
I remember getting to it because I didn't have spikes at that point, I don't think yet. And I remember getting to it, like, I saw the girl up ahead of me kind of like be weird. Like, this was after the hill in the first mile, which is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hill that Bo Ryan coached at Platteville. That was the hill he made them all
Yes.
run. So we ran a part of that at mile one. That was mile one of the race, was somewhere right around there.
That was a beast
So,
of a hill.
oh God, like
Oh
that. I was
man,
like,
it's so bad.
get through it, and then you can try and do the other stuff. And I remember that, yeah, like coming down it, and then you're along the trails where you kind of go over into the prairie area. And I like to see this girl ahead of me, like, do some like kind of just weird movement. She's ways ahead of me. And I was like, what the hell? What did she do? And then I get up to, I was like, oh, there is a river across the trail. Like, and it's not something I could step over. And so she must have gone, like, people had made clearly the other people
Yeah,
had
we went a
like,
little path around the side.
yes. And then I was like, I think I panicked. I think I did take it because I was like, I don't know, like, you're kind of early in the race. I don't know, like, but logistically, is this going to throw you off? Like, I don't know. I took it, and then I like got through it, and like, I know other people. I think you went through it, didn't you?
I went
Did you go
around.
through?
I went on the path around.
You went around?
Yep.
It was like too early. I was like, it's like a mile and a quarter. I still got like half the race left into running
Yeah.
waterlogged shoes. No. And then I know people behind me, like, it looked, and we're going through it. And I was like, oh,
Yes.
that's badass. I'm not that badass. Damn it. But
No.
just like the ridiculous
The
Albany was in
conditions.
like
Like you can go from running in beautiful 50-degree, cool, crisp, no humidity weather to running in 27-degree, frosty cold in Albany, for example. Or you can run in blazing heat and humidity like on September 1st or 2nd, like in Monroe.
yeah,
Nasty, nasty, gross.
mid-afternoon. Let's have it.
Mid-afternoon.
I believe we always did that because we did 3 meets in 8 days. We did that. That was like a Tuesday, and then we went to Darlington,
Dodgeville.
excuse me, on the weekend, and then we went to Dodgeville the next Tuesday, which was like the first day of school.
Yes. Oh
And
my
then
goodness.
went
So
ran.
crazy. The conditions though, that's the beauty of it too. And again, this is not to like place it above other sports, but there is just like distinctions between like conditions for distance running and conditions on a football field, for example. Like I just feel like it's a different mentality of needing to like combat the elements and like,
Yeah.
you're running miles in could be craziness.
I think too, maybe mentally, because you can see like football, or let's say it's a baseball field, baseball diamond, softball diamond, whatever. Like, not that it's not hard, or if it's shitty weather out, like, yeah, it's gonna get
Yeah.
muddy or it's gonna get weird. But also you can see it all right there. And I don't know, there's something, yeah, about not being able to see the entire course where you're like, oh, like unless you've scouted it ahead of time, but then also depending on when your race is, like who's gone first. If let's say you're running on kind of a flat area and they churn up it all into mud before you go through in your race, you're
Yeah.
like, oh goody. Like now I'm in foot high, like I'm in deep mud. This is fun. Or that
Fantastic.
not knowing if you didn't scout the whole thing or you didn't know how it was, like coming upon it in the race, being like, oh dear, now I gotta course correct, pun intended, for this. Like now I gotta adjust for this. Or mentally, okay, I just did that thing. Oh, now I gotta go do this thing. Now I gotta get through this. And like, what fresh hell waits me around that turn?
What fresh hell awaits me around that turn? That's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice. I
that's
like
that's
that.
cross country. Because that can be anything. That's truly
And we
anything.
had a great coach.
Mhm.
Like we were a small school, and so like we didn't have enough makeup of like we weren't gonna like go to state as like a team or you know what I mean, like play super well as a team. So it was, in my opinion, I mean, it felt like more it was like on working on your individual strengths and your individual goals. And if you had team things that came of it, great. And I appreciated that just because, you know, Pat, wonderful person. And I feel like his wonderful personness was also, I mean, he's still with us. His wonderful personness is also current, and it was a great influence in like in a sports setting that I can say confidently, like I didn't get in other
Yeah.
sports settings.
Yeah, I
Does
think
that
it
make
was
sense? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
when it was pretty much, drama free. I think everybody was there. Again, I think you're there because you're ridiculous and wannabe. Like you're not doing that for, at least for cross country. Like you're not doing that if for any other
You
reason. Like
you got a few screws loose in some way if you're there,
correct.
so
I say that in the most loving way to everybody who's done it. Like really, it's they're weird. We're all a weird bunch. So
yeah,
in some way, or if again, you really willingly want to go do that in anything, any kind of endurance thing, you're a little bit different than other people.
you are. That's true.
Fine. But I think, yeah, there was, only any drama. It was like everybody showed up, just did their stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know, some years we didn't even have enough to field like a guys team or anything. So like you
right.
weren't gonna go. You were just individually there for yourself, but also, yes, it was nice to also be there doing that crazy thing with other people and having that
Yes.
team, I think. But you also knew everybody in the team, which is nice. I mean, I can remember sitting down at Moving Shoes in Madison, shout out, where, I started to discover where you should like get real running shoes. Who knew?
Oh,
You could like you should go get things that like worked for your feet, not just like go buy them off the shelf, like at a random store.
what
Who
a
knew?
novel concept.
I,
Yeah.
I can remember this is before senior year. Like I'm sitting there like getting them, and the girl next to me was from a school in Madison. Madison. I don't know if it was a Memorial or West. It was probably, I think it was, might have been Memorial. And so like the employees are helping both of us. And so they ask her first, like, oh, how many people do you have up for the team? And she's like, yeah, I think we're kind of low this year, like 95. And like she just meant girls. Like she just meant girls.
Hysterical.
Like, that's like double what my class was. And then the guy asks me, and I'm like, what? I think we got about like 8 or 9, and then like 3 or 4 guys. And they both just kind of like looked at me like, oh, and I'm like, small school, whatever.
Yeah,
We just
12
don't
year old girl,
have the
baby.
same number of people. Like the student population, like, and now I know they co-op with Argyle, so like they have more, but I'm like,
Yeah,
no, small school, like you're not gonna have 95 is like in multiple classes, like whole grades would have to do it.
that's crazy town. That's
Yeah,
crazy
so like
town.
95 of them competing for what 7 spots on varsity, like to run the
7
varsity
varsity
race. Like,
spots. Yeah,
but I just wonder what their team dynamic was of, or I've talked to other people who went to bigger schools or like raced in college
yeah,
and stuff, and just was not always not dramatic. Or, let's say, yeah, I
yeah,
mean, again, that came down to like race by race. You didn't race well one week, your spot was probably gone to
yep,
somebody else for the next one, or when it came time for conference or playoffs, as they call them. And
yeah,
so like, and I know there was definitely tension on some of those teams, like when there were like the chosen ones or whatever. And if, somebody didn't have a good race and then somebody else got slipped in, like, okay, you had a decent one, like you're running better, you're going
yep,
to do it. And then the rest would act resentful to that person. And it's like, yeah, I'm glad we did not,
yeah,
have, have
for
that. Like,
sure.
it was just like, go do it, finish where you're going to finish. Again, we're all out here being ridiculous. Like, we're all the same, whatever.
Yeah, we're wired a little bit differently, just a little
Yeah.
bit. Um, do you feel like running is something, because again, you do it, like you've done it more consistently than me past high school, you know? Do you feel like distance running is something that quote unquote like anybody can do if they want to? Like we talk about like couch potato to 5K plans, like follow this plan and then in at 12 weeks, like you'll be able to like run for 30 minutes straight, like a 5K. Do you think that it's built in such a way that if you want to do it, you can?
I think so. I mean, it doesn't require the equipment of other sports. I mean, if you can
Mm,
get in some athletic gear, if you have it, or something that's comfortable or ish. And if you can
yeah,
just, I mean, the footwear is really the big thing, just to prevent injuries. Not that you have to
right.
have the top of the top of the top of the line, like just something that's not going to destroy your feet or your
Yep.
joints. But other than that, and if you live in a place that's safe enough where you can go out and run, or you could run indoors, whatever, I mean,
Yeah.
you can do it. And it is actually kind of cool to see like people we know that, didn't do cross country track maybe in high school, but like have gotten into it. And I think
Yeah.
that's all different levels. Again, there's some people who just do it, when it's nice out, and they have the thing like if it goes below 50, they don't run outside. And I'm like, that's when it's nice. It's not swamp ass. What's wrong with you? But like, they have their thing, or they'll do it year round, or they'll kind of pick like I want to do 5Ks now. I kind of want to try a 10K, and some just start right
Yep.
off with the half marathons or whatever. So no, I think anybody can, and that's kind of the nice thing, especially as we get into adulthood, because it's like unless you're a professional, you're not like you're no longer. I mean, you can be there are clubs, there are still running clubs which are great, but like it's like a hobby group still, like ultimate frisbee, anything else, any other sport you'd be playing, your softball leagues, your basketball leagues, still whatever. Like you're doing it because you want to, because at this point, not that you couldn't always do it because you want to, like have that choice, college, high school,
Right.
whatever. Like here, there's really no, like you really are doing it because you just kind of want to still. And you can kind of
Yeah.
make it what you want because, I don't think you have to run a certain number of days a week to be called quote unquote a runner. You
Well,
run
good.
your run, like you
Good.
run your runner. Who cares? Who cares your pace? Who cares how much we all stop and walk or stop for a second, get our breath? Like who gives a shit? You're doing it, you're moving, which is good. Like that's kind of what it comes down to. I look at it as like
Movement.
movement's good. Movement's good for you. So whatever that looks like, get out and do it. And yeah, I think that it's probably also, I think, less intimidating because there are also so like community 5Ks and different little races and
Oh,
things. Like
totally.
I think it looks a little bit more approachable than maybe high school or college where it was a much more formal thing. Um,
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
more welcoming, or there's certain races that are more hardcore, but then there's certain ones that are called civilian races, which is fine. Like where people like don't know how to get out of the way or like not run and block the whole road. And I'm like, well, but you're out here doing it, which is great.
You're
You'll
doing
learn
the
that.
thing.
You're
Yeah.
doing a thing. Like
Doing a
you're
thing.
out here doing it when you could be sitting around doing nothing. So you know what? Kudos to you. Like, but yeah, I think there's like those other little ones where yeah, it's maybe not as competitive or like the pressure, but like it's more like, yeah, everybody let's get out and walk and run and like let's get
Do
out and
it.
move and
Yeah.
let's be on a nice course and let's have a good cause. And just do it. So I think it probably is a little more accessible. I think it continues to get more accessible. I think a lot of people found it, when COVID first started, when they were
Oh, that's a good point.
home, if people were stuck at home and were like, I gotta get out, I gotta go do something. I feel like I know several people who started their running journey during that time or kind of getting into it. Or again, they live somewhere and they're like, oh, that looks that looks kind of fun. I kind of want to be able to do it and yeah, not die. I should probably like go out and try it. And not all of
Right.
them follow running plans. Like the Wadmingers go up, I don't know, I'm gonna go do 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe I'm gonna go try and run a mile without stopping. Okay. I'm
You
like,
have just
cool.
spoken my language.
Yeah. And like they look, and that's their goals of like, let's see if I can get that mile down, or like, let's see if I can do this. And I'm like, yeah, good. Like,
Good
go
for
run.
you.
It's good. Right. Like set some goals. I think it's the same concept as like we had in high school and stuff. Just, it looks a little different.
Yeah.
The goals change for the person, but it's the same thing. Like, can you kind of better yourself and can you push yourself in something?
I think that's
And
totally fair. If you want to know my ebb and flow journey, like Facebook gives you your memories. Like on this day, you said X stupid thing in old Facebook speak 15 years ago.
you
Like
passively
lately,
aggressively like quoted those lyrics. Yep,
song
guilty.
lyrics,
Mhm.
yeah. Uh-huh. Exactly. Yep. That 80s born mentality is like showing strong in your Facebook memories these days. This time of year, apparently, I have restarted my couch potato to 5K journey several times. I was like in the May leading into the summer months or whatever.
Makes sense.
Um,
Yeah. Weather's finally getting nicer. Like that makes sense. Like
yeah,
people are like, you know what, I'm out. I should like go do stuff. Or you see more
should go
people
do
do it
it.
in the neighborhood. You're like, yeah, okay, I can do that too. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, who
And
wants
I've
to
got more
start their
money now. I have better shoes than I ever have. Like I
Yeah,
was always buying just kind of like run of the mill, whatever, the
yeah.
pun intended, run of the mill. Maybe that should be this run of the mill,
There we go.
run of the mill.
That's
Um,
sure. There we were missing
Great
that. There we go.
shoes. I got great shoes now. And I am not a fantastic runner by any stretch of the imagination, but the shoes are comfortable, which
You
is
need
great.
them. You need, I don't care your pay. You need the shoes make a difference. You have
Yeah.
to have ones that fit your feet, depending,
Yes.
wide, narrow, whatever you have, how your arch is. If you have an ankle that collapses in because it's weaker when
Yep.
you're running, like you have to have it just to stave off injury. It doesn't matter. Even if you just walk, like you need good
Need
shoes
good
or
shoes.
people that work and stand on their feet all day know the importance of having good
Heck yeah.
footwear
God, yeah.
because yeah, like that's your whole structure, that's all your joints, that's everything. So you need good footwear. It's crazy. Like I think back to the shoes, even at the running store when I started going, like later on in high school, just compared to like what now they have in there. And I'm like, the technology is insane. Like just the
I know. I know.
what
Well, and I'm
different
like on
kinds.
trail now. Like I have a bike trail that runs through my town. So I'm on gravel, like
Mhm.
state bike trail if I'm running most of the time. So it's like I went online and I did a little test. Like I'm gonna be running on this type of whatever, and I have flat feet, and like all the things, and shipped them to me. They're great. If
Yeah.
you can invest 120 bucks rather than the 40 that you were throwing at the Nikes you were trying in high school, like moi, it's a much more comfortable experience. You know,
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
improved.
It's
Much
even
improved.
crazy what they do in the stores if you go to like a running store, like the way they will analyze your foot and they'll look at, they'll have this like they have all these crazy things, which I love. I'm like, oh yes, let's play. It's not just,
Yeah.
filming you on the treadmill anymore, which is still helpful to like see what you're doing. But like some of them have like things like walk across this pad and it'll like analyze your foot and where you're putting the
Analyze your foot.
pressure. It'll tell you like, oh, you're putting it too much on your heel, too much on this, too much on
Yep.
that. You should have this shoe. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Or yeah, what surface amount here? Do this in your arch. Here, these are the types of shoes you should get. Like that, I feel like was never a thing, even when you would
Right.
go to a store in high school. Like it was more just like, what do you like? What are you running?
Yeah.
Here,
What color do you
which
want? What's your
was fine.
favorite
But
color?
yeah, like which again, fine for I think where the stuff was at. But now just with all the technology and with, the invention of the super shoes and everything that's come
Yeah.
out and people, records getting broken left and right, like it's funneling down into just the commercial thing that just, normal people can access that just want to go for a run.
Yeah. Totally. Oh my God. Yeah. I am a for I think I agree with you about that anybody really can do it if they want to do it. Because that couch potato to 5K thing, if you follow that sucker, sure as heck in 12 weeks, you're running 30 minutes without stopping, and you're like, how the are you looking back like, how'd that happen? It's
Yeah, well, because
beautiful.
I think that's what also probably gives people pause is, oh my God, I gotta go out and run 2 or 3 miles like right away without stop. It's like,
Yeah,
no, you wouldn't, that will give you an injury. You wouldn't do that for any other sport. You wouldn't go, you know, take batting practice for hours on hours when you've never hit a
right.
baseball before. You wouldn't do all the drills in football or anything or these other stuff, conditioning stuff right away. You wouldn't go full bore. You would kind of work yourself back up to it.
Yeah,
So for running, I mean, it's funny. It's really kind of those same things our coach like gave us when we started like in ninth grade. Like it's
it
that
is.
same thing of like run, walk, and eventually let's start. So it's not as daunting if you're like, all right, this week I'm running 2 or 3 more minutes than I was last week. Like we've just kind of flipped some of the walking, and now we're eventually get versus like, yeah, just go out and run 30 minutes. Like that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That feels like a lot.
Well, yeah. And when you're totally out of condition,
Well, if you
even
haven't
if you
done it, well,
check
right. To just expect somebody to give me, all right, go do it. Like, oh, yeah, go bike 100 miles off of doing nothing. Good luck. Like, no, you're not setting anybody up for success. And like, you will get hurt or you will ache. Or if you ache so bad the next few days, it's like you're not like, I don't want to do that. I felt terrible.
yeah, it unmotivates
I don't
you.
want to do that anymore.
You know what? You remember, so like the town I currently live in has which is super cool for the size of the town, has a Boston marathon qualifying marathon that they run in this town. They also have a 5K and 10K. So I hadn't this last fall, I hadn't ran at all. And it was the 2 days before the 5K, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna sign up. I'm gonna go do it. And however much I walk and run together, I don't care because I'm just gonna go start my journey again by doing this. But it's that mental thing. Like once you're a runner and you have that mentality, it was like, I'm thinking I'm only gonna be able to run for like a minute and then walk a minute and then whatever. And sure as hell, I was like, I ran 12 before I stopped and I walked for two. And then I like ran like eight more and then I walked for two and then I finished the rest. And that the end, super hot and humid that morning in October,
Mhm.
there's like one foot in front of the other. I am not stopping until I get to that dang finish line. And it's like I think you just like that's the part that's like riding a bike is that battle with yourself that you're like, no, I'm gonna do this. Like even if it's ugly, gonna do it.
That's what the fight is. It's not, I mean, yeah, you train physically to get through it, but
Yeah,
you also have to train, or do it. It's the mental part of like, um, and I mean that I find it too, like it always goes better, usually, at least to start with, like when I'm in a race atmosphere in training. Like when you're by yourself, because it's like easy to stop, or which I do, like that, or you have it and you're like, oh my God, there's no way I'm ever gonna do this in a race. And it's like once you get into the race atmosphere, you're like, no, there's other people around. So like if I just kind of
yep,
or if I find somebody kind of going the same pace, or if they are walk riding, I'm like, I can just follow them and do that. Like I find
yeah,
it somehow always feels a lot better, at least in terms of like me being able to go for long before I start stopping compared
yeah.
to, yeah, when you're like on the trail out by yourself, you're like, well, there's just me and there's nothing. And Now
There's
there
beauty in
isn't
this
some beauty
nothing.
in that. Like it's not, you can have nice runs and stuff, but if you're
Yeah.
gonna try and push yourself, you're like, oh,
I
just me.
know. Well, and that's the thing about this is true about our high school competitive experience, but I find it to be true in like friendly community 5Ks that I also occasionally do is like running is such a friendly, like
Mhm.
runners encouraging other runners, even though you're in a competition, I have always loved. Like it's like you're running by somebody, you're passing them, they're struggling, and you're like, you could do it, man.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, come on, like come with me, follow me. Like, and
Yep.
that was
Fine
just it
fun.
never stops. Isn't that amazing?
It's also evident, especially when you have out and back courses. So when you've got the
Mm,
fast people who are out, and I noticed especially for like the
yeah.
woman, and usually I'm running around a lot more, so like people lose their shit because it's like, you cheer the top guys on that go by, but whatever the top few female, like if you're doing out and back where you're on one side of the road and you're gonna be able to see because
Yep.
they
See him
come out,
coming
they're
back.
coming back, they're gonna go past you. And so people usually like say something to each other, but like usually it elicits the biggest stuff when you get like the top female or top two or three coming through. Because all
Yep.
especially the women who are running, who are also in the race, still having to go out to that part, like, wait, like these people are almost finished, or a lot further in the race, and these people are not.
Yes.
And like cheering them as they're going by and stuff, like taking like breaking their stride to do that. Yes, I always found that yeah, impressive. Or just like I even remember in high school, just like I don't know. Again, there were probably assholes at schools like there,
There
but like,
were. I encountered them, but
but yes, like I mean, everything is going to have idiots. Like they're there. We get it. But
there's a quote.
I don't know. Like there was just something about, especially like the finish line, where everyone's like throwing up, dying, all of that. But like everybody was just nice to each other because it's again, whether it was like your teammates helping you out or like your guys team helping girls or vice versa, depending who is first and like getting people stuff and whatever. And again, I saw it in college too. Like again, because I think there's just that acknowledgement of like, yeah, you're as dumb as me because we're both out here doing this shit, even if we don't go to the
Well, and
same
this
school.
sucked. This was hard, and we both did it,
Yeah.
right?
I know I have a friend who she did so she never did volleyball, but she did softball was her sport. Basketball was kind of her second one. She went on to play college softball. And her senior year, she decided to first shape for basketball. This was a few years ago. She decided to go out for cross country. And I was like, and she didn't train as much during the summer, but like she did it. And I said, yeah, I said, you can do it, but it's going to be hard. And I said, not that you don't work in softball and basketball, but especially for her, I said, those are your sports.
Yep.
They come very easily to you. You are very talented. I said, I think you can do it. You're going to amaze yourself, but it's going to be hard. It's probably going to be far harder than anything you've done. And
Yeah,
sure enough, she was like, you know, and this is, I mean, they run 5Ks now. This is how old we are. They don't do, you know,
I
high
know.
school cross country
So
is also now a
cool.
5K, just like the guys. Like they don't do 4Ks. So she
Spoiler
she was
alert, we're
doing a
old.
5K. Yeah. So we are that old that we still did the oldest, the vintage distance. Like now they're at the 5K. Um, and I know like she, did it. She was towards the back and her mom, like, oh my God, it like would make me cry because she's like, we'd be out there to meet and like I know these other parents, like their kid has probably already come through the point and they're waiting, like, this girl is back a little bit further or like not up with the leaders. And she's like,
Yep.
there are parents from other schools cheering for her. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to cross country. Like we're all weird. Like the parents again, now that they aren't assholes, but I'm like, even the parents realize, yeah, this is weird. We're all weird. Like,
Yeah, this
kudos
is
to you. Like, who gives a shit you're in a different singlet than my daughter?
don't matter.
Who cares? Like, fuck yeah, we're cheering for you. Like, uh-huh.
It's a
And yeah,
testament
I was
to
like, huh.
camaraderie. It
She's like,
really is.
she's like, that would never happen in softball or basketball. And I'm like, no, but that's what's like
No, it
weird.
would.
Like, that's what's different about running is that, for the most part, like everyone acknowledges, yeah, we all did the hard thing. So like, kudos to you.
Exactly. I mean, people are finished. You talk about finish line. I mean, people are like projectile vomiting, and you're like, you did great. Good job,
Yeah. Other
person from
coaches
another
are coming
school.
up to you from other schools during the race or after being like, yeah, good job. And you're like, hey, hello,
Yeah,
aren't you
buddy.
the top athletes? Like, okay, hello, yes. And like kind of here, have the water cup around. Like, are you gonna projectile vomit on me here? Just take the
Yeah,
cup. I'll stay over
just
here.
do it over there. Off to the
Like they're
side.
just pulling people are crawling out of the chute because like you can't, try not to back up the chute. So for people who are still finishing to like be able to, cross the line and get their time. And it's ridiculous. Like the
Yeah.
carnage
The
and everybody
carnage.
just like again, like, yeah, we all did that. We're all ridiculous. We
Yeah,
all
we're all
we all did
ridiculous.
that.
I love it. Okay, so I've got a little game for you. I'm gonna spring a game on you. Okay. It's not really a game, it's just a little reaction game. So I'm gonna like read you a quote and I just want to hear the first thing you think of when I read the quote. Okay? Are you
Okay.
ready? All right.
Mhm.
When your legs get tired, run with your heart.
I think that kind of goes back to what we've been. I mean, that's when your body starts to feel it, when you can feel the creep, the ache coming in,
Yep.
the legs, somewhere in the legs, where it's like, ooh, this is getting harder. Ooh, the lactic acid's built up. Ooh, like we're falling apart here. Yeah. Can you try and pull it together, keep your breathing calm and still push forward?
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I think about endurance. That's endurance sport.
that's endurance
I
right
think if
there. That's
that's what
act.
sets, yes, I think that's what sets it apart from other things.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Sure. Hit me.
It's always a great day for a run.
I think a coach, I think a high school cross
Coach.
country.
Coach H.
That
Woo!
was always the motto. I think
Was.
I have a hard time doing it, but I think it teaches you, kind of gets to that of not tempering expectations, changing them somehow for the day. Again, I
Yeah.
think if you've ever run or done it consistently or anything, again, endurance sports, whatever, especially, like there are days it feels great, and there are days it feels like you've never done it before. If you're like, wow, I promise I
Yeah.
have done this before. I promise I have put one foot in front of the other. My
Yep.
goodness, my body's not having it today. So I think, but like being grateful you can go out and do it. Not everybody can. Or figuring out, okay, fine, like, I gotta back off today because it's just not like it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Like
It's
whether
gonna
I
be what it's gonna be.
think it's
I like
sleep,
that.
wherever I'm at my hormones, I didn't eat well or something didn't agree with me, like something, fine. All right, let's recoup. What can we salvage from this run?
Love it. Okay. I like I like your reaction to that because spice alert, snark alert, I hate toxic positivity, but I didn't view that as toxic positivity. I think you're right in that it was just like, you know what, today we're here. You put like you said, we put everything else aside, and right now we're going to run and it's going to be great. I didn't view it in like the way that I currently view toxic positivity, which is like ignore all things that are bad,
Yeah.
whatever. It's just like it's a mindset of like we're gonna do this and we're gonna do it together and it's gonna be a good day.
Well, and meet yourself where you're at, which I still struggle with because I'm like, no, I can overcome that. I should be able to do it good every day.
Yeah.
Or, like it should be like I should be able to fight through it to still get it to be the same as it was last week when it felt easier. Like otherwise, I'm a pile of shit and I'm not a robot and I'm a human and oh fuck me, I have emotions. This is terrible. Like we go down that spiral, or at least I do. And I think that's also, I don't think we've touched on this yet. That's also, I think, part of not the, well, maybe it is the addiction. I don't know. It's part of the fuel for it too. If you want to run, or especially if you want to race, however, whatever that looks like for you, because you can do everything right. And you can have all, even if you did training.
Yep.
And again, you can show up that day, and we've all had it happen, and it's just not like you start out like, either you immediately are like, oh no, my legs are not into this. This is gonna be a struggle in a different way. We now got to go to the B goal because A is not happening. Or
Yeah.
you ate something and your body's like, even if you've eaten it before, we
Eh,
don't, something's going on here.
pass.
Like,
Yeah.
so oh good. How do I do this so that I either get it out or shit myself in the race or throw up? Like, how are we going to get through the GI? Or the weather all of a sudden turns 20 degrees warmer than you
Yep.
wanted. And if you're not a warm weather runner, you're like, okay, well, now I can still try, but like what's 85 degrees and 90% humidity going to do that, like when I thought it was 60 for that. So like there are things, and I hate it. It's a metaphor for life, but yes, you can do everything and there are still things outside of your control. So I think I like it too. It's like, can I do enough to beat what I cannot control?
Yeah.
Come together.
I like that. Can I do enough to beat what I cannot control?
Like,
There's a new
can I
quote.
get lucky? This is a lot of luck. Like, can I get lucky and everything
Yep.
kind of comes together on the day, or can I push through it? Or yeah, can I still do something decent even though X, Y, and Z went wrong or did not
Ooh,
go ideally the way I wanted? Like I struggle with it because I hate it. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna just do it all. But like, I'm trying to be better about like, yeah, show up on the day. Like, well, X, Y, and Z is not what I would want. So, all right, but we're all gonna have to deal with it together. So,
amen
fine.
to that. Look at us importing wisdom life advice based on running. That's the goal of this episode. Look at that. I love it. I'm gonna hit you with two more.
Okay.
Okay. All right. One is hang on. No, which one? No. One of them actually makes me emotional.
Oh,
As
good.
we run, we become.
I was gonna make up like a pop song on the fly or something. Um, I think you find out what you're made of.
Sorry, I don't know. I'm just gonna start
Yeah.
singing now.
I don't know. Some reason Space Jam one is in my head, and maybe because I listened to it today on the run. Because Millennial, do you have the Space Jam's theme song on some of your race soundtracks or
I can sing it
playlists?
for you. I don't need
Yes.
it anywhere. I can
Hell
sing it.
yes. It is a staple. Hell yeah.
It's
Um, Copyright infringement.
yeah, I mean, but
I
I
think
think as you run, you become. I think that's like the growth of your battle with yourself, is how I
yeah,
read that. It's like you're becoming newer and better versions of yourself because you're constantly trying to improve. We talked about this with our guest, our
yeah.
first guest in the
Yep.
snarking lot. Like you're just in a battle with yourself, period. And you're becoming, you're doing, you're setting goals. You're either achieving them or not, and then you're setting new goals, and you're just like you're becoming, you're becoming, you're becoming. Every training, every race, all the things. That's how
It
I
builds
feel about
character. It builds character. I hate it.
it. Builds
And there's
character.
something then like again, well, even like again, well, let's say you're out doing like a workout and it's like absolutely balls, like today. For a number of reasons. One, I did it to myself because I was like, well, I'm purposely gonna go out when it's like hotter out and do it. It blew up in the second half to the point that I was like, I could pull the plug or call an Uber and get back to my car because I still got like several miles to struggle through this with some speed work. Like this is it was not, it was a lot of stopping, it was not going well. And then I had to be reminded, like, no, it's the
Yep.
miles are done. It's supposed to push you. It's supposed to be a stretch workout, stretch you to the limit. So I did respond with a stretch workout, you say, and the image of Michael Jordan in Space Jam, like with the arm, because I was like, and then like also torch, like on fire, and I was like, this is an accurate thing with today, how today went.
Brittany,
I
I
had to be
feel
reminded, like, yes,
I, I feel sorry. I just have to say, I feel a little bit like I'm learning more about your obsession with Space Jam as our episodes continue.
it's just so good. I mean, minus the fact that R. Kelly's on there. I mean, it's still a good song, but
Yeah, I
R.
mean,
Kelly. Also,
details
I mean,
aside.
it's questionable. If you watch it, I will say, side note, like I watched, I have it. I don't like the new one, but I have the original, the OG. If you watch it, much like Shrek or some of those other movies, like I feel like Pixar ones too. If you watch it back as an adult, you catch all the jokes and the stuff that like you never
Yes,
got as a kid, and you're like, holy shit! Like there are
yes,
juicing and steroid jokes and things like it's
constantly.
throughout, and I'm like, holy cow, amazing. Um,
Love it.
but no, I had to be reminded, like, no, you know what? Everyone's gonna go fine. And the hay is in the barn. Like, just you got the miles in, you got it done. It served its purpose, like,
Yep.
move on. And I'm like, oh, so I
For
think,
you.
yeah, you find out, like, can you do it? Yeah, can you get through it? Or I kept repeating to myself, like, the one today was it was two sets of something. And so the quote I was like you can do two of anything. And so I was literally like, two of anything because I'm like struggling, like stopping and rock running by a dog park. And I was like, fuck, fuck. I could change this. And I was like, no, because I want to be able to say I did this. Like I won't let myself adjust it, which
Yeah.
probably is a different problem for a different, that might speak to our first guest's episode. But like, I was like, no, I'm this close, just finish it somehow, some way, just stop whatever you got to do. Like just gut it out
Finish.
and then go get dehydration or something at your car. It's fine.
Go
But
eat ice cream.
yeah,
Whatever.
something. You'll recover, go do what you're gonna do. But I think it does. Like you find out, yeah, can I do it? Or when something else comes up that's not related, like the next time, you're like, I don't know, there's that quote, can I do hard things? Or I can do hard things. I think it kind of fits into that because you're like, well, I did this over here,
Yeah.
so oh, shit, gotta do that. Hmm.
All right, I got one for you. This is my favorite out of everything I found for you. I think it connects perfectly to this conversation. I often hear someone say, I'm not a real runner. We are all runners. Some just run faster than others. I've never met a fake runner. I
No,
believe that.
I think you can't. I mean, unless you're, I don't know, go run a couple steps and do be a run influencer and whatever, but
Yeah.
whatever. I think that it's you either do it or you don't. You're either running, and again, you can doesn't mean you're running the whole time, but like you're either doing it or you're not. Like,
Yep.
so if you're doing it, who cares what the pace is? Again, especially now, like you're not competing to make the Olympic team. You're not competing for this, that, or the other anymore. I mean, you could be trying for stuff, but like nobody's gonna sponsor you in your local 5K, most likely. Like nobody is, you're not making money for it. I mean, there's prize money for
Yes.
stuff, but it's not your livelihood. You most likely have a job or somebody in your family, in your household has a job and you have a job like of some sort on this is on the side. So it's like, no, you're doing it, you're choosing to do it. You're
Yeah.
doing it. Like everyone's going to be different. People of all shapes and sizes do it. Also, people of all shapes and sizes run at different speeds. Like there's not, I think it is really cool too. Or like I know I've noticed it when I've watched the Iron Man. Like, yeah, maybe the fastest kind of looks similar, but you look at people and I'm like, there are people of all shapes and sizes beating each other that if you put them on a thing, like you would never think like,
You
oh,
would
they're
never
a athlete or well, they have to be, they probably do this speed. Like, no, they're beating people that look quote unquote more like runners than they do. Like there's just it's people all over the board. Everybody's doing it. And I'm like, yeah, well, again, that on steroids. Like they're all ridiculous. They're all out there doing it.
I think it's because it's about the mentality, right? Like if you're a person who
Yeah.
gets into distance running and you're into just setting your own goals and beating yourself and, having that mental battle every time you get out there you can't fake that.
No,
Like you say, like you can do like the run influencer, go fake like you're running or whatever, but like you say, if you're really into it, it doesn't matter how fast you're doing it, it's the mentality,
doing it.
period.
You show up to a run club once a week and you're like, I don't know, I got this group of people and we're gonna go do a couple
Yeah,
miles.
you do
Fine,
it.
right? You're a runner. Like you don't even have to be racing. Like you want to, you that doesn't interest you, and you just want to be like, no, I'll go out.
Just go run.
It's a nice day. I'm gonna go out and go look at the scenery. All right, go do
Hell
it.
yeah.
Like, who cares? You're doing it. Like you either did it or you didn't. So if you did it, you're a runner. Congrats.
All right, snarkers, this is your cue to take a look at running because we believe that everybody can run if they want to. Doesn't matter the pace. It's all about what's in your brain that I'm pointing to. It's all about the brain and the body too, but it's a lot of brain.
A lot of brain.
A lot of brain. Love it. All right, Brittany. Shall we go to our this was delightful. I think this I do have to share though. One big thing that I got from running. This is very crucial, Brittany. Are you ready? My love of cranberry donuts from Panera Bread.
Yeah.
End
Mm-hmm.
of story.
Mm-hmm. I discovered
Yeah.
Panera because of it.
It's nothing better than Panera bagels. We had the
Nope.
Einstein, we had Panera. Like if I have to choose, I go Panera.
Yeah. That was my first bout with both of them. Was
Me
coach
too.
bringing bagels to practice, and I was like, oh, I mean, I always see these in Madison, but I've never stopped. Look at that.
What's one of those things like that that you got from running that has kind of nothing to do with running?
Um, I would say, well, I mean, it is kind of running. Well, understanding that I am not actually a good runner in the fact that like I cannot slam a beer after a race like so many of my
Oh, that's
comrades can.
crazy.
The number, it's impressive. I can't do it. It takes a while for me to maybe be able to start sipping it, but like kudos to people who can like finish and then just like go right over, rip the beer tag off their bib and go give it and go get a beer. I have
Go
tried and I
slam
get
it.
to sip in and I'm like, nope, nope, no, 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 no. I'm not that good. I have learned I mean, it is running centric. I have learned what snacks I can have on the run and what snacks I cannot, like what my
Love it.
body can tolerate. Again, that can change and fluctuate based on how I'm feeling, but I kind of know the
Yep.
general. And like, yeah, there's the bars and the gels and all that, but literally even just, oh, I can take a piece of bread with some peanut butter and jelly and I can pull from that, or I can have
Yeah.
applesauce. I can do different things. Like, so I've discovered brands around that.
I love that. I love that though. That's such good points.
I don't know. I mean, I have like specific memories. I don't know, like there's not a specific food. I mean, other than you've touched on it, the bagels.
Bagels. It's the bagels are so important.
Yeah, they're crucial, but I don't
Brittany,
know
you
if I have
have to give
other.
this a whirl. I didn't slam a beer, but I did do the cheese days chase. Friends, go to cheese days. Run the cheese days chase. Went to the beer tent. This was not right away and was not slamming, but
Yeah,
had a
yeah,
beer and the
yeah.
beer and the cheese sandwich that you get complimentary after you run the cheese days chase. There's something to be said for that in that cheesy environment. You
Well,
might be able to stomach it then, you know?
I do want to try that one. I can do it. It just has to be a ways after. Like it
Yeah.
has to be.
You can't
I
just like that's your drink to like rehydrate
No,
after
like
you
there are
stop.
people, and kudos to them. They can like finish, go through the shoot, get their other stuff, and then they can go right over to the beer trailer and like tear the thing off the bib and
Yeah,
do it. And
that's
I've
crazy.
tried with different beers. I can't do it. It doesn't matter even if it's hot or cold out. I can't
Oh,
do it. I can
ew.
go, I can go like recover, go change, shower later on, and I can like go to a brewery and get a beer or a flight.
Yeah,
So again, I just need to
totally.
have some time. I'm like, no, I am not a good enough individual. I am not good enough like during the Madison races where there was, I don't know if they still do it, but on Langdon, there was a frat that did a Bloody Mary bar. It used to
Yeah.
be the mile five of the race. And I was like,
Oh
people would
God.
stop and I'm like, I want to, because that looks great. It's at mile five. I got what? Like, no, I have 8 more to go. No, that's not gonna work for me. But I wish I could be like those badass people, or the people like the Emma Bates of the world who can finish Boston, get handed a warm Modelo, like slam it open on her leg and just drink it after being like one of the top American finishers at Boston, like in a hot environment. I wish I could do
No.
that. Not that
I
good.
love me a Bloody Mary, but I think I just got nauseous you talking about that, like
No.
thinking about
Like,
having one right
I
after you get done running.
guess I'm not a real runner because I can't drink immediately after the race.
Shoot.
Can't
Oh,
drink.
that's so bad. Oh God. I
No.
just the
So
thought
I
of
don't
it.
know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
So yeah, in one respect, I guess somebody could say, "Oh no, you're not a real runner because you don't like downing liquor immediately after." And I would be like, "You are correct. I
you are
cannot.
correct. Well, I guess I'm not.
Why not? No, I don't, because I don't have any traditions like that anymore, which I guess
Yeah,
is sad. Or maybe I should implement them. Like I have some coffee shops sometimes I go to, and I'm like, I don't want to treat myself, but I don't have anything like the bagels were key.
bagels are so good. And
That
Subway
that I would.
stops. We made a lot of Subway stops.
Oh yeah.
Delicious.
Oh yeah.
Foot long Sammy's after a nice long day. Carbo load that stuff up. Yeah, it was good. That was good.
I
So many
know.
good memories. Brittany, I gotta hit you with the next section. I'm saying
Yeah.
hitting a lot. That's very aggressive. I don't mean it like that. Um, what are you reading? What you got for me? What are you
Yeah.
reading?
I am finishing up Fire and Blood. I think I said it last time, so I'm
Okay.
further along in it, finishing it up. So
Okay.
season 2, House of the Dragon, drops on the 16th.
All right.
So, Cassie, what are you reading?
I'm finishing Your Money or Your Life, the medical debt book that I talked about last time, but I also got a new one in the mail that I'm excited to start, which is called Accidental Saints, Finding God in
Mhm.
All the Wrong People. So
Very good.
I'm excited to
Some
report out
spicy.
when the time comes. That'll be super. That's going to be some spicy. We might as well just talk about books in a whole episode when we talk about that. Pretty excited about it. What's your big goal? Bigger or goal, big or small? From now until the next time we chat.
Well, in the running theme, trying to get heat acclimated. Got
Okay,
warmer.
good.
Body is like, I don't like this humidity stuff. We don't need to do that.
We don't like humidities. That's right.
We don't need to do that.
It's
We don't
warm
need to do
under
that.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Mm. Drinking more water. I said it last time. I was successful for a string of days, kind of waned again, so I just gotta I'm noticeably feeling a lot better when I'm drinking more water. Go figure. Like if you're perpetually dehydrated, you don't feel very well. Shocker. So I gotta keep up on that. I keep up on that. So I can get out there and run, as you say, topic of this episode. Shouldn't do that dehydrated. All right. But the biggest question, what's the dumbest shit or any shit that you've seen in the news that you want to tell us about? Share a little bit about.
Literally opening Twitter right now
Here, while you're opening Twitter,
and
I'll tell you
scrolling
mine.
because I'm like, come on, people, hit me with something.
All right. So,
What do you got?
remember sent this to you and I said I'm claiming this for
Yes,
dumbest shit in the news? All right.
yes,
So
I've been
it's
waiting.
a story, a quote unquote, I'm putting big air quotes around story from The Hill that's entitled High Paying Remote Work Jobs Fading Fast, study. Employees hoping
Yeah.
for a raise might want to reconsider working from home. Okay. So, a new study by job seeking website Ladders found that high paying remote jobs fell nearly 60%, while hybrid availability fell 95% over the past year. Um, this another survey found that 90% of companies out of the 1,000 surveyed said they expect a full 5-day week to return to the office by the end of the year. So, I'm not even going to get into all of my thoughts, but snark alert. I want to know who pays what they think are legitimate news outlets to do stories for corporations to try to plug that people don't like remote work or that they should be scared of remote work. It is the biggest amount of bullshit I have ever heard in my life, and I believe that the money trail is you're paid to cover this by people and companies who are anti remote work because anybody who works remotely loves it or they at
Yeah.
least don't hate it.
No, or there may be a place where they can still go in and interact. Like a lot of places still have an office. So if you want it,
You want
do
it, you
it.
can have it.
Or go out and sit in a coffee shop, do something. Like go sit somewhere, go to the library, go what you can be in public. You can figure out ways to still do it. Or yeah, go get something else like the rest of us. Stop trying to make remote jobs into back into in-office jobs. Like if you want an office job, fine, go get one. And let the people who want remote do remote. I mean, they keep reiterating it. Like they keep having these articles come out. I feel like every couple months, like, oh, they're decreasing, or oh, people are actually happy doing it. And
I
I'm like,
know.
I don't think a lot of them are. Maybe some, but I'm like, no, I don't think so because that's why the remote jobs, like it's so many people applying because no. Or there's turnover when you suddenly, I don't know, suddenly make it be like, oh, JK, we said you could work remotely from anywhere in the country. And now we
Yeah.
want you in place like 3 days a week. Like, no. And it's like, stop having that control again. Stop, snarker, spicy alert. Stop trying to make up for the fact. Do it. Do it.
Narc alert.
Stop trying to coddle your leaders who don't do anything or middle management who don't have any real jobs to make them feel like they need to do something by walking around and just micromanaging everybody in the office. Oh, yeah, I know.
Ooh. There it is. There's the
And
name
let
of
people
the
do
podcast coming out
it.
to play tonight, friends.
Yes, because also a lot of people can get their work done in 8 hours or less. So it's like they're just wasting time in the office. You got the commutes. It's like let people be with their families. Let people just
Brittany,
oh,
we'll have a whole episode on career at some point for sure, and
oh God,
we will get
do a
into
series.
so much about this. But those headlines drive me
Yeah.
bonkers. So,
Yeah.
anywho,
It's
putting
like
aside,
just admit you can't control people as much. Just say it. Just say it. We all know it. Like just say it. They want to talk about, well, you can't advance. And it's like, yeah, no, just say it because it's about control. And you know, especially again for jobs that can be done anywhere. Who cares? And as a company, why wouldn't you want it? Some companies have woken up to this, some not so
yeah,
much. Like,
I'm not.
why wouldn't you, for jobs you can do anywhere, why wouldn't you want that to happen? Because then you can improve your talent pool and pull from anywhere
Thank you.
because anybody can do it. Or, set it in limits, the lower 48, 50 United States, lower 48, whatever, so whatever your parameters are. But you can be like, hey, or even if it's just within the, hey, we can pull because there might be some great people who don't live right here and don't want to have to move right here, but
Yep.
they would be perfect for the job. They could do it. They'd be happy. They'd like improve our company. Like I go in a business sense. How the hell do you not understand that?
I
People
do.
will be happier. They'll stay longer. Like I just don't.
It's one of my soapbox topics. So
Oh
much
my
so that
God.
I'm pulling the microphone to my mouth.
Yeah, well, it's like stop catering to corporate real estate. Like whoever else is the lobbyists are paying for that shit. Like,
That was
knock
the
it
other
off.
thing that some of the commenters on, because this
Mhm.
was like the found the link on Facebook, the people were just like, and again, how many like corporations that have office space were like paying people to boost this?
Here's an
They're
idea.
losing out their butthole on paying
Yeah,
for real
well,
estate.
here's an idea. Here's an idea. And some places have done it, but not done it well. But here's an idea. How about we take all that fucking worthless space and we convert that into affordable housing?
Oh, you've told me about these projects. That's delightful. I love that
Some of them you
idea.
see online do it better than others. And again, a whole other issue because what is it? There's enough open housing actually in this country to house every homeless person. Was it 6 times over? Something like that. Like you could have as many homes as a politician. Like, come on. Ooh, sorry. Spicy.
Snark alert.
Um, why don't we put the buildings to good use and stop building the rest of it? Commercial
I
real estate.
understand.
Like why do I said corporate earlier, commercial real estate. Like,
Yep.
but yeah, that business is tanked. And so that's the drive is no, we got to get everybody back in.
Yep.
Yes, we got to have them doing that in the control. So it's amazing.
What did you find? That's my hot take.
Well, I'm just going to go off of, I didn't find it immediately on Twitter, but something that I think is happening. Well, I know it's happening now. And again, tying back into how Dragon will be happening as the season premieres here. And just something that happens, I feel like, in some of the really toxic fandoms. Like there are people who do things well, and then there's toxic parts of every fandom. But not being able to pull apart the actor and the character and roasting the actor online when they have a quote in jest about like have a little corruption, be a little vile in your life, like this team, and then getting like dragged on Twitter, the actor getting dragged on Twitter for saying that. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
Jesus Christ, like could you it's a joke. Like he's not actually telling you to be more of a betrayal and vile and corrupt. It's a joke. Okay, so it was a House of the Dragon character who did it. And
Okay. Okay.
he's an amazing actor. He's on the team that I think is probably a little bit less popular. And so he was quoted as saying, like an interview, being like, yeah, be more vile, be more corrupt, like did that, like joking, like, come on, join Team Green. And apparently proceeded to just get absolutely dragged all over online for, oh my God, he's promoting really terrible things. And I'm like, could you, there are worse things
Wait,
to be mad at.
wait. Are you suggesting that people should read context of things and they should be more digitally literate? Is that what you're coming out here and actually saying to me?
I am drawing a line in the sand and taking that stand or that and just, directing your rage at, again, the litany of problems in the world. Lots to be mad at. Not saying you shouldn't be
Poison.
mad at
Pick your poison.
definitely. We're all about the passion, be passionate about something, but yeah, pick a cause
Dear
that's
Lord.
worth it. And also, again, separate your parasocial relationships from these people, whether it be actors, comedians,
Yeah.
whoever, or, also, again, realize like the actors are not the characters they play, unless you're Chris D'Elia. But the actors are not the characters you play unless
What do we always say,
you
Brooke? We
play it.
say turn the channel, right? Like the principle of like, if you don't like something also, you don't have to read it. You don't have to keep listening to it. You don't have to
Correct.
keep watching it. There's been times when Matt and I are watching like a clip of some show, we watch some like clips of shows on YouTube of different things that we don't watch the full shows for. And there have been times where we're like, wow, like that's annoying. Respect that they have that opinion, but I don't have to watch the rest, right? And it's not that I don't want to be informed or hear different opinions, but it's just like that's me turning the channel. I don't like it. I don't have to continue with it. Like you can just not engage something.
Yeah.
What a
Well, if
concept.
you're supposedly, especially like for that stuff where like I mean, I don't know, pick any like big cultural show thing, or whatever, especially. It's like, yeah, go find something else. Or if you want to be in that fandom and like it, not that you can't critique things and everybody can have a
Right.
different opinion, but it's like why don't you put your energy somewhere else? Or
I
just
know.
realize like it's probably a marketing ploy. Or depending on what was said in context, like they're joking. Because of course, especially for this is a fantasy world. Like, this is the same world as Game of Thrones, like rape and incest and murder. Like some of that's
Yeah.
considered more okay in that world. Doesn't mean you support it in real life. It's not
In
real.
real
It's
life.
fake. I mean, just any of those shows. It's fake stuff. It's art. Just my God.
Brittany, wait, you
Like
mean
you
Chris Pratt isn't actually a cat? Are you sure? Like
well,
Chris Pratt isn't a cat in real life? Because I thought he and Garfield were one and the same.
you might actually be that though.
He might actually be Garfield. That's a bad example, but you get
And
the principle.
and Rainn Wilson runs Fruit Farms. You can't convince me otherwise. Like, yeah,
Now,
yeah, yeah. So separate, just yeah, like just
separate.
my God, to put well, and I think for them too, like the energy for people to like go on these tangents and rage post all this stuff or like make these videos.
Oh
My
God, I
God,
know.
you took all that time to do that. That actor doesn't care. They're never gonna see
Right?
it. Or they'll see just the deluge of hate. I'm like, why? Why? It's if you supposedly are in this fandom and like this stuff, what the hell is wrong with you?
I know.
Oh yeah, you gotta have something to complain about. And again, there's plenty in the world to complain about. You want to complain? Complainers. It's an adjacent parking lot. Like, absolutely, nothing wrong. But I'm like, put it towards something. Put it towards something more
Put it
with like
towards
the boot
something
on.
worthwhile. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, put it towards something with one of the boots on your neck. That's not it. Tom Glenn,
Oh,
whatever his
that's such
name
a
is,
good
who
one.
plays Aegon the Second in House of the Dragon, is not it.
It's not it. I love it. Thank you for that. Spoiler alert. Care about things that matter. Um, Crazy talk. That was delightful, Brittany. Thank you for that. That's gonna make me think every time I see something I don't like. Maybe I just don't need to be here. Like if this is annoying
Yeah,
me. I don't
well, that's
the
what's so great, especially nowadays with the all the
America.
different streaming platforms, the books, the internet. Like you can change the channel, change the station. The music that comes on, fine. That's fine. You don't have to like it. Guess it also probably wasn't made for you. Like not everything has to be made with you in mind. Like don't fucking watch it then. Don't listen to it. Find something you do like.
Not everything has to be made
Do
with you
that.
in mind is a great quote.
I mean, okay, I'm
Love
going
it.
on a tangent again, but perfect, the Super Bowl halftime shows are like the perfect
Yeah.
example when people are like, oh, I can hate this. And I'm like,
Yes.
then don't fucking watch it. Go to the bathroom, go get yourself more food, turn the channel, watch something else for the
Literally turn
halftime.
it.
If you
Yes. Totally.
just do like, just fine, fine. Not everything that's going to be made in TV and movie is going to, or music is going to be for you. That's fine. You're never going to please everybody. Like, find the thing that is made for you that you do like and go with that. You'll be happier. Why waste your time on the shit you don't like? Life's short. We're all gonna die. The curtain call is gonna end. See, we're I'm bringing it back around to our show prep. Like the curtain
Uh,
call is coming for you. Why wouldn't you
Calls
want to
coming.
be why wouldn't you rather be watching or listening to something you like when it happens?
All right. That is perfect. We're right there. So, quick reminders. Thank you for bringing them up at the beginning. A, we're on Instagram. Follow the Snarking Lot on Instagram. And B, help us get more followers on all of our platforms. Um, if you do and you prove it, we're gonna send you some free stuffs in the mail. So get excited. And maybe someone who gets us the most will get something cool like this. Hmm?
Maybe my mail delay will just end up at your place.
Hey.
USPS will give you the
Yeah,
mug that was supposed to go to me if you bring
just
in more
routing it to
people.
the winner. It already knows.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's like we're gonna hold off on Brittany. She doesn't need it. It's fine. We'll give it to some. We're gonna have it be a stakes.
All right, Brittany. I think your dumbest shit in the news leads us perfectly to your segue of your classic sign off advice.
Everyone, just want you to remember, always bring logic to a dumb fight.
Bye.
Bye.